Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, I'm your host, Mrs. M. And if you haven't, make sure you click the link below. That way you can subscribe to my channel and not miss out on anything you need to scale your business to six figures and beyond. Oh, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you again. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving holiday. So I like to focus on three things. I like talking about having a business that can scale to six figures and beyond. That way you're using government contracts to make that happen. The reason why I focus on six figures and beyond is because I consider that an amount of money that you can really make changes. That means that you can send your children to college, or you can have a great retirement. You can leave your 9 to 5. So a viable business to me is focusing on six figures and beyond. In this video, I am going to talk about something that I really focus on, my formula. My formula talks about 5 pieces, but today I'm going to talk about one piece, and the one piece is R for relationships. And I'm going to share with you my screen in a second. I'm going to focus on, let's say, health and human services, which is a big one that I've worked with. And I'm going to share with you how you can connect the dots. Now, one of the things you want to do when you're looking at working with government contracts, especially, is building the relationships. And you want something that's predictable and repeatable. You can predict the results and you can repeat the actions again and again and again. That's when you have a system in place. It's not you, it's the system. So if you do all, let's say there's 7 steps, I have 5, but let's say there's 7 steps, and each one of the steps may have 5 in between it. So there's 5 major steps, and each step may have 5 different pieces. So I'm going to share the screen with you if I'm looking to work with, or let's say I'm looking to work with health and human services, and I want to narrow down how to do some market research, how to find them, and how to make sure that I set up a plan that I can make sure that I can have it where it's predictable and I can repeat it again and again to get to the viable business I'm talking about, which is 6 figures and beyond. Okay. All right. So let's go. So the first thing is, of course, you need to know what your NAICS codes are. Then let's come to one of my favorite, which is usaspending.gov. When I come to usaspending.gov, I am going to choose last year, fiscal year, or the fiscal year for government, which is 2023. Then I am going to focus on setting up my filter. So the award agency is going to be Department of Health and Human Services, because I know that they use my services, but I want to narrow it down because in one of my previous videos, I go into determining what government agency uses your services the most. So I know the Department of Health and Human Services uses my stuff a lot. And that's, if I'm doing 561 facility services support, that's one of the ones that they really use a lot. So we can say, facility support services is one they use a lot. So I'm going to make sure I put the awarding agency as Department of Health and Human Services. I'm going to come down and look at the recipient type, which is going to be a small business. I can choose minority, woman, any of those. I can choose an amount. So I can say that I want to find some that are under $1 million. So I can choose that. And these are a couple of the filters that I can decide. Now, once I've done that, I am going to come back and hit submit search. Once I hit submit search, I am now looking at the time period, the award agency, the recipient type, and the amount. Million and under is what I want to focus on, or you might want to focus on, 1 to 5 million, but this is where you can narrow it down and really look at it. Then I am going to look at the time, and I'm going to look in quarters because I want to know when they're buying. So they're buying the most in, I think I know what it is. I think they're buying the most in the fourth. It looks like they're buying the most in Q4. Now, once again, I've talked a lot about marketing your business based on the quarters with government. The way you market your business in quarter number 1 is not the same as quarter number 4. So we can see that they're doing quite a bit of business for what I was looking for, which is $1 million and under. So I may say to myself, I'm going to get a little proactive in quarter 1, really get more so in 2, 3, but really hit it hard in quarter 4. And that's the time when you're looking at where they spend the most money, which is the last quarter of the year. It's not a coincidence that they spend that much. Now, the other thing I'm looking at is I'm looking at it through time. Now I'm going to look at what agency is spending. So I can come down here and I can look at industry code. I want to look at the NAICS codes. So then I can see what the NAICS codes are. That's the PSC codes. I can click on here and I can see the NAICS codes. So I can see what NAICS code in the quarter that I'm looking for, under $1 million, that they're spending the most. So this narrows it down really, really a lot. The next thing I do, now I can set up a whole lot of filters, but like I always like to say, I'm giving you the high level, not the eye level. Eye level is when we get into an extra amount of details, but you get the gist of it. You can come here, you can set up your filters, and you can learn this by doing the work. The next thing I'm going to look at is I want to start looking at the people, because remember I said relationships. So now I know that I want to work with Department of Homeland Security. So my next step is going to be to download their budget. I love, love, love downloading their budgets. I'm a budget person because budgets give you so much information. This is 169 pages. And in this, I can look at everything they're looking to do. So I can look at what they're looking to spend their money on. They give the details of what Medicaid, Medicare, that's the biggest money spender that they have, that they spend the most money on. Then I can look at what they're looking to do. In the budget, they're real specific with the words. So they tell me exactly what they're looking to do. And what am I going to do with that information? What's the point of it? Well, the point of it is, I always say, what's your CTA, call to action? The point is for me to let them know, not only if I have a proposal that I'm writing, this is where I get more into the capturing to win the bid. I'm capturing the information and I'm like doing my, my research so that I can capture the bid, win the bid. And so I'm putting all this together. The reason I want to be real specific is because now I can use certain keywords to let them know, guess what? I'm really interested in your agency because you're interested in me. They care about what I can do for them. So if I can convey that by going onto the budget. Now, there's quite a few steps into, getting the information and putting it together, but this is where you start. You can go to usaspending.gov, get the information, then come here and get the information. It's got a lot of information on what you're looking for. I can even go to usaspending.gov and look at the subcategories. And when I look at the subcategories, then I can look even further. So choose a department. Once you've chosen a department that's working with your company, that's doing the things you're looking to sell or service, if you're doing a service or you're doing a product, then you want to narrow it down to the agency. That's the next thing. Department, then agency. Remember, I say you find your most success with what? Finding federal revenue success. Money. That's it. Money, money, money. By narrowing it down, not making it broad, but coming in smaller and smaller and smaller. So when we come in smaller and we focus on what they're spending the money on, and we talk about hepatitis C and AIDS and HIV and all that, then we can look at beginning fiscal year 2025, what they're going to do. I'm going to extrapolate a couple of really, really key words, make sure that's in my capability statement, that's specific for the agency I'm looking to go after. So I'm going to have one capability statement. I usually have 3. One that's going to be real specific to the agency I'm looking to prepare a bid for. The next one will be a general one. And then the third one would be one that I'm looking to do when I am sending it out with my introduction letter to specific agencies. So that's what I'm going to narrow down. And I'm going to follow this and I'm going to go and look really, really detailed. And it breaks it down into what they're doing. Healthcare centers, what they're expecting. So this is how you literally market. Just only finding a bid and only being, reactive to a bid, just going like on the sam.gov and finding a bid, that's fine. That might be, if you break it into a pie of 100, that may be what you do 40%, 30%. Then you have something else that you do the other 60 or 70. So it's not just one method. That's the key. Now, I go into a lot more detail in that, but you want to get the gist of it. And I'll share with you at the end how we can connect the dots as well, which now we're getting to the end. So the next thing I'm going to do is, after I've gotten the budget and I know exactly what I'm looking at putting into my capability statement, I have OSDBOs that I can reach out to. I'll share that with you in another time, in another video, but I'm going to look at LinkedIn. So when I focus on LinkedIn, which this is my LinkedIn, I am then going to go to finding HHS. I just put in HHS. HHS, which is Health and Human Services, which is what I'm looking for, comes up. That's the department. They come up, and then I click on to how many employees they have. And then they have a list of employees. So I can say, okay, I can either go by people because I have done the research to find their employee list. They have a list of all the employees. And my goal is to do what? Build the relationship piece. I want to build the relationship piece now that I know they work with my company. I've tweaked my capability statement. So by doing that, I looked at the budget, got keywords, tweaked it, may even go on and maybe update my DSBS so that it looks really, really good and that it's attracting the agency that I want, the department and agency. And then I can come and look at some of the information. I can look and see if I can find some people that are in the OSDBO or small program specialists or the contracting officer. This is where you want to build a relationship to connect. And if they don't have something for you, but it sounds as if your capability sounds like you can really work with that agency, you'd be surprised what they'll do. They will be a connector. They will connect you to the individuals that may be able to help you grow even more. So the gist of all of this is the money and time that you end up winning an award, being awarded a contract, starts with having a predictable system that's set up to be predictable and repeatable. You've got it all set up. So I may say, okay, Monday, I'm going to go on and I'm going to look for this department. What I've just given you, you might want to spend a week on because it's a lot. You can go and find usaspending.gov. You can find the agencies, go to the agencies, look at how much they're spending each quarter, go from the quarter, write that down, putting in your filters to then find their budget. From their budget, you then want to find the employee list, the employees. You then want to come to LinkedIn and voila, make the connections. You can give them a call if you have your elevator pitch, which we work on our elevator pitches all the time. It's not a one-time thing. We look for what? We want progression, not perfection. So if you would like to learn so much more, guess what you can do? You can sign up for my free masterclass where I go over everything, including our favorite, the middleman method, where so many people, our students, us, have won contracts. But I like to go into the pricing and the profitability of it because that can really mess you up if you don't know how to price a middleman method bid, if you don't know how to do that proposal. So if you'd like to learn more, this is just the start of what we share with you in our free weekly. Every Wednesday, we do a free masterclass, and it's called GovCon, and it's our weekly series, GovCon weekly series for the Gov Edge, and I'd love to see you there. Click the link. Look forward to seeing you there, and until next time, make sure you're safe. Bye-bye.